Tens of thousands of people have weighed in on the Biden administration's controversial Title IX rule, which would in part stop state bans on transgender athletes participating in girls' sports. Joining us this morning to discuss is President of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
132,000 comments and counting right now, Nicole, on this proposed rule, really from all sides. And your group submitted formal comments. So what were your key points?
Yeah, we had 5 key points that we were concerned about. The first is that allowing transgender athletes to compete in women's sports is going to take away opportunities for women on the podium, in awards ceremonies, and just overall, how that will impact their self-confidence. There are biological differences between male bodies and female bodies, and so we worry about fairness and safety. This impacts parental rights because parents want to choose a safe environment for their children, as well as, how to deal with locker rooms and overnight field trips. There is a privacy issue as well. And then finally, the cost of this. The Biden administration has estimated that this will cost about $34 million over 10 years, which we feel is a gross underestimation of this, and it's going to be far, far higher. And so we tried to raise those points because the department is obligated to review and consider all of those before they come out with the final rule.
Tell us how this policy would essentially also force school districts to allow transgender athletes, even if the state has a law banning it.
It specifically blocks states that have a blanket ban on participation, which as of right now, there are 20 states that have that in place. But what it does is it's kind of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's not a mandate, but it does say that it's up to a district to determine whether a transgender athlete may or may not participate. That being said, if the district's reason for doing so doesn't pass muster with the Department of Education's Office of Civil Rights, then an investigation can be opened. Districts don't want that. It's time consuming. It's a hassle. And then also let's take a step back and realize coaches at the end of the day want to win. And so we think that there's going to be a lot of pressure both internally in the schools as well as from the top down. And so I think almost certainly we're going to see across the country districts doing this because they fear retaliation from the Department of Education.
And everyone talks about rights here. Critics, though, of this proposal say, what about the rights of other students? How would this threaten women's sports?
Well, this is absolutely going to gut women's sports. We just saw actually last night or yesterday, there was yet another cycling competition where a transgender competitor beat biological females. This is happening across the country on a pretty regular basis. And so the fact that it's going to continue happening, not only in contact sports, but also in non-contact sports. And I think, that's something that people are very, very concerned about.
In Ohio, your organization filed a federal lawsuit against a school district regarding one of their policies. What was that policy, and how was the district violating students and parents' rights there?
Sure. So this district has, through its transgender policy, has deemed that if students don't use the preferred pronouns of their classmates, it's considered bullying and harassment. Students can be subject to discipline up to and including expulsion. And so it compels speech. It forces students to use the pronouns of their peers, even if they don't want to. And then also, interestingly, through their electronic device policy, says that if students use their cell phones, electronic devices, even in the privacy of their own home, off school property, unconnected to school activities, that can also be a violation of school policy, which we think directly impacts and guts parents' rights within the privacy of their own home, which is astonishing.
I know a lot of parents turn to your organization for help with these types of issues. What's been the response so far from parents that you've talked to in that district?
It has been overwhelming, aside from the fact that, we had all these families who reached out to us when the policy seemed to be implemented, and it was kind of slid through in a sketchy manner. There was no official notification of it. People found out through public records requests. We have had other tips from the district come in. There are a number of other concerns about how the district has adjudicated other speech issues, issues of bulletin boards, issues of religious freedom. And so it's been interesting because every time we break a story like this, when we work with terrific outlets like yours, we have other people who come out of the woodwork and say that's not all. And so definitely where there's smoke, there's fire. That's, I think, my big takeaway.
President of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Neily, always great to see you. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you.